Well, folks, the final interview for our EP Access All Protectors Networking event in Grapevine, Texas. This Saturday, April 16th from 7 to 9 at Boomer Jack's. And with us, I figured, I may be biased, but I figured to save the best for last. We have with us today the CEO and my business partner of Maverick Protection Group, Dave Schlecte. Dave, nice to see you. Appreciate you being here.
You too, Craig. Long time no talk.
I know it's been like 15 seconds.
At least 15.
And not all the text messages from all day, every day.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Anyway, well, I don't want to bore everyone with our banter and back and forth, which is usually just funny to us. But I would like you to tell everybody tell them about Maverick. Just tell them about Maverick Protection Group, all the way back to when I wasn't part of it. Trim it down.
The good old days.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. But yeah, go ahead and tell everybody about Maverick Protection Group.
Maverick Protection Group, we're based out of Michigan. I founded it about 2 years ago. I was pretty independent, did a few things with a few people, and realized across the industry that there's a big gap in the treatment of agents, from the providers down to the people who are actually on the front line. I saw a gap there, and I saw an ability to fill some of that. And so a lot of our business is based around treating, the people who are boots on the ground, who are there actually doing the job, treating them with the most amount of respect, and obviously compensation and training and the things that matter that make us look really good. We're a team-based organization, and I slowly at first built that from just myself, and then about a year ago, 6 months ago, Craig was actually my business coach prior to this whole endeavor, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in one of the next questions as to why it's important to network. Right. So Craig and I decided to go into business together in October of last year, and it has been going gangbusters ever since. We've scaled way faster than we thought we would, and I attribute a lot of that to treating our people right. Our attrition rate so far is 0. So that's really the focus of, if you treat your people well, they'll treat your other people well, your clients well, and we end up having kind of a cream of the crop group of people who actually care about what they're doing, and we don't do heartbeats. We do actual protection.
Yeah, and that was, I know, just having been in all those conversations, that was just very much a focal point for us, because I've noticed it too, having been in the contract game. And I'm not talking the long-term contract. Like, a lot of my work was this especially in Vegas, was I was with these, was working with this company, with this client this weekend, and then the next weekend I was working with this other company.
Sure.
For this other client, and you do hear about how people are treated, and not everybody's, I don't want to say not on the up and up, but just not doing as well as they could. And I think also too, as we're doing it as well, it's going to get, it's only going to get better. Especially as we learn things, and we learn the people that are working for us, and what they, essentially what they like, and what works, and what keeps them answering their phones, and thank God they have for so long. So, but
I would attribute all of our success to our team. When I say we go gangbusters, that's because those guys are putting hours upon hours, blood, sweat, and tears to make us look really good. So.
Yeah, and they've been great. So, as you just brought up, how important is networking to our business, and from your perspective?
So, one, I would get in trouble if I said it's not important at all.
It's right. The partnership would be over.
Yes. No, sorry.
Right.
No, it's everything. The whole reason that I'm here is because of you. When I first took that very first EPI course, before I did the 7-day or anything else, it was your class. It was about networking.
Right.
When I kind of hit it off, and I hired you as a coach, and what did we figure out? The return on investment. This is before we were in business together, but the
Right,
return on
yeah.
investment in that was something like 1,849% or something like
It was
that.
4 digits, whatever it was good.
It was, yeah, yeah. And now it's all going away because we're business partners.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's everything. I can't imagine another way to go about this business. And I mean, and maybe there is, but I can't imagine a more effective way. And the right way, as far as I'm concerned. This is all about relationships.
Yeah.
And it's the relationship that matters between us and our vendors, the providers that we do stuff for, and of course, our people. And all of that is part of the network. It's not just networking externally, it's networking internally as well.
Yeah.
Somebody taught me
Networking
that.
while at work is what it comes down to.
Correct.
The more
Right.
the more you get to know the people that are there, and what and again, it's coming from a place of it's of service, but I mean, and it is of service because how do we make it easier to do your job, to make us to make us as a company successful, but you and I, and then the the individual agent as well. Which
most
I
importantly,
think
the client, right? Yeah.
oh well, right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And so it's it's a long-term play that we have to, so it's just day in and day out, which, I guess it could be, could be confused with leadership, which I think it also is too, but just getting to know your people and it can't go wrong. And all your people, right?
Yeah.
From your clients all the way, all the way through the vendors and everything like
Mhm.
that. So, yeah, so it's everything, right? And
Yeah.
the consensus to a number of what would be considered leaders in our industry, it's a shared thought, which is why
Mhm.
which is really why we're doing these events as well. So
Right.
you kind of touched on it here a little bit and you kind of answered, but if you have a different one, that'd be okay too. But would you mind sharing a networking success story?
Well, sure. I mean, there's the obvious one, right?
Right. Yeah.
So far, it's a successful story. We'll see.
Right.
But well, we can talk about when I worked for the presidential campaign. That was through an agency out west that through just that very first detail that I did, that I sort of course, like most of us, fell into. I think 5. I have 5 relationships continuing that now give us business or that we do business with, just out of that detail. Granted, it was a long detail. It was an entire election year, almost cycle. But the agency that had me do that in Michigan, and for the offices in Michigan, we get stuff from all the time now. And one of the individuals actually just broke off on his own, and there's another whole network now that's opened up. So
yeah, and
that'd be a pretty good example.
It's always good when that happens. I mean, there'll be some that look at it as competition, but can't be everywhere all the time. And knowing the people and having worked shoulder to shoulder with them makes a difference. Because you're not just a name, you're not just a profile on LinkedIn. It's I've stood shoulder to shoulder. I've worked. They've seen me work, and I've seen them work, and we're still talking. And so there's something to that. It just you can't. There's never. I mean, I don't want to say there's never competition. There's always competition, but you have to work with them, and by knowing them well and allowing them to know you well, it's a win-win. Or I don't even want to call it a win-win. It's what I like to call a can't lose necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see another way to do business, but that's just me. I mean, I'm sure there are other ways to do business, but I think, well, that's one of the our biggest assets, of course, is you. How do you get the greatest networker in the world to be your business partner? Well, you just ask them.
Right, you strong arm, and evidently that
right.
didn't work. So you got me, and that's going to have to do it.
So, right.
So along this, why why do you believe that networkers? I mean, again, kind of answering each question as we go through this.
Right.
Why do you believe protectors should be consistently networking?
It's to me, it's so ingrained. I mean, how else do you get business? If you don't network, I don't know how, other than I mean, and even posting something up on a Facebook group that says, hey, I need some business, or hey, I'm looking for work, that's still networking, right? So I don't think it's a matter of if it's important or not. I think it's critical. It's a crucial skill to have if you want to do well in this career. I mean, obviously there are some people who, you know, will be with a family for a long time and things like that, or a corporate position, but all of us are expendable. We know this. And so keeping an open network and keeping that network, not only with other protectors and people that can do things for you, you know, quote unquote, but more importantly, what you can do for them, right? I mean, one of the greatest things that you've taught me is that doing somebody else the solid, right, without anything, without wanting anything in return, and just doing it to do it because you know it's the right thing, and you know it's a good networking play, if you will. That's hugely powerful, you know. Yeah, just what do you say? Be interested, not interesting, right?
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
around
yeah,
those
yeah.
lines. So
Yeah, so it's hard to do because we want people to know about what we're doing, or you know, you said not necessarily just with protectors, but you know, that those people that are in the family office, right, or in a corporate
right.
position, you know, they have to rent cars, they have to go to the
Mhm.
restaurants, and you know, and keeping an open line of communication. And of course, again, it's not constant. You don't have to always
Right.
text the general manager at your client's favorite restaurant, but you know, showing up, having dinner yourself, being part of it, always saying hi,
Right.
dropping a line. Hey, saw this article, thought of you. Hey, there's this training. You know, hey, why don't you come to, you know, inviting them out? Just things like that. Just, and
Yeah,
again, even if they say no, your name still shows up at the top of their text log, right?
exactly.
Or in their email box. And just
Right.
it's like, oh yeah, that, you know, and you don't know
Yeah.
what's going to come in. You know,
No, and you don't.
every conversation, every interaction is significant. Now, what level, right?
Sure.
You don't know. And I just saw a quote today from Dr. Ivan Meisner, founder of BNI. You know, I talked about him a number of times in BNI in and of itself. But the quote was, "Never underestimate the depth of the pool your fellow networkers are swimming in." It's a pretty long one, right? But it's still
That's a
like,
good, no, that's good.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
just like, that you don't know who can introduce. We were just talking about our buddy Eric, right?
Right.
Like he has opportunities that we don't, you know,
Right.
or he's like kind of at his fingertips, you know, and
Hmm.
helping him kind of navigate that has been interesting and has been fun. But he calls me, calls
Yeah.
you, he'll
Yeah.
text, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? You know,
Yeah. He's coming to Texas as well.
and he'll
So
be in Texas as well. You won't,
yeah,
for those of you who are seeing this, you won't miss him. And
he's one of my favorite. He's by far one of my favorite people to work with. So
seriously, yeah, he's
yeah.
great. He's
Yeah.
great guy to talk to. So, well, you know, outside of the obvious, why did you think sponsoring this event was a good idea?
Well, I wanted to get along with you.
Right.
No, because well, one, I mean, whether we were in business together or not, I think I sponsored stuff for you before we were in business together. I think what you're doing is important, and I think what we're doing is important. And anything that well, I mean, we're partners, right? So we sponsored this event. I guess we could ask each other the same thing, right? But no, I think sponsorship of this event it was a given. And I think the future events and where this idea and this networking is headed in these mixers and this stuff around the country, it's really a business disruptor, which, as everybody knows, I'm all about. So yeah, there's when you start doing things that nobody else has done, and then people start understanding the value in it, how could I not sponsor it, right? So, and I mean, I would sponsor anybody where that's the overall feeling, I guess. So,
Yeah, it's excuse me. It's it's in where it's been done before, but not necessarily at scale. And I don't know that we're there. You know, obviously we're not there yet. And because one, I mean, this is the first thing. You know, as you and I have talked about, it's the what's next, and then what's after that. You know,
right,
and then where does that go from there? But again, it's still bringing more people together to, you know, trade business ideas, you partner up, find vendors, you find work, if, especially for those people that are looking for work, the newbies, especially to the industry, being out and making the time to, to go to, to make the investment. And that's what it comes down to. And we could do a whole coaching session on
Right.
why aren't we networking? Why aren't we making the investment? And where does that lie? And that
Right.
it's on the person. Like, it's like, I can't afford it. Well, when you have time to figure this out, and if this is something you want to do, at some point it's going to have to give, and you're either going to find
Right.
work where you are and be happy, or you're going to have to go someplace else. You're going to have to go someplace else, maybe, right?
Yeah.
But getting out there and talking to as many people as possible, in the right context, in the right, I don't want to say venue, not necessarily venue space, but like, are you in the environment for it?
Sure.
Have to go through all that stuff. And that's one of the things that I think that we talked about a year ago about coaching is where do you want to work?
Right.
Where can you go? And when there's an opportunity, I think the number, I was just about to grab my phone. I forgot we were on interview or recording. But last time I looked at the numbers for this event was 131 registrants. Now, some people have fallen off, but also I don't think you've gotten your ticket yet. Technically, I don't think Christian has. I don't think Joe has, and not that they necessarily need to. But the fact is, we're going to have other people there that that haven't been accounted for. And somebody just told me they're bringing a date. I'm like, awesome, the more the merrier.
Exactly.
Bring them in. So, and you don't know who that person's going to be. And so I've also invited the people from the hotel. Like, why don't you guys come on in? I invited the guys from the golf course. Why don't you guys come on in? So just talking to everybody and
it'll be one, it's always a great time. The mixers are awesome. But the value alone is just, stop getting Starbucks every morning. Just save that up and go to the next event.
Right.
It's the return on investment, I promise, is better than that cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Most of the day, most mornings.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on the day.
Right.
So anyway, well, listen, I know you got other things to do tonight. I appreciate you taking the time. And I'll be in touch. So we appreciate your thoughts and thank you for being my business partner.
Hey, thanks back.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been my pleasure. Anyway, folks, listen, thanks for tuning in. This is being recorded. This is going to be go out just a couple days before the event, and we'll see you there. Don't forget, EP Access All Protectors Networking event this Saturday in Grapevine, Texas, from 7 to 9 p.m. at Boomer Jack's. Be there, or don't be anything. Just be there. See you real soon.